Hello, my lovely listeners. I want to start this video with a heartfelt thank you to three wonderful women: Karen Phillips from Santa Fe, New Mexico, Brooke Lawson from Franklin, Tennessee, and Natalie Scott from Bend, Oregon. Your messages remind me why these stories matter. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because if you're not subscribed, YouTube may not show you the end of this video. So tell me, what city are you listening from right now? William balanced the worn storybook on his knee as he finished the last page for Sophia, her small chest rising and falling in the steady rhythm of sleep. The 6-year-old's room smelled faintly of lavender shampoo and crayons, a comforting mix that always grounded him after long days. He tucked her favorite stuffed rabbit closer to her cheek, its fur soft from years of hugs, then eased out of the chair. The apartment in Seattle's quiet Capitol Hill neighborhood felt smaller at night, cluttered with half-built Lego towers and colorful drawings taped to the walls. The sharp pounding on the front door at nearly 10 o'clock jolted him. William's heart lurched as he closed Sophia's door gently behind him. Who would come at this hour? He navigated the living room, stepping over scattered blocks that clicked under his socks, and opened the door to find Rebecca Ellis standing there. His boss for the past 4 years at Evergreen Tech Solutions, her tailored coat dotted with raindrops, cheeks flushed beneath perfectly styled, dark hair. Her eyes, usually cool and professional, burned with intensity. "You're fired," she said, voice carrying down the hallway like a crack of thunder in the still building. William froze, his mind spinning through every line of code, every deadline he'd stretched himself across since losing Anna to illness 2 years earlier. The tightrope of single fatherhood and software engineering had grown thinner each month, and now it seemed he'd finally slipped. "Rebecca, please," he whispered, keeping his tone low to avoid waking Sophia. His hands trembled at his sides, the weight of fear settling like ice in his stomach. "Whatever it is, I can fix it. I need this job. Sophia needs—" "That's exactly the problem, William." She cut him off, her composure fracturing just enough for him to notice the slight tremble in her jaw. "You haven't been listening. Not for months." A soft voice broke the tension from behind him. "Daddy? Who's here?" Sophia stood in the hallway, rubbing her eyes. Her Wonder Woman pajamas rumpled, the stuffed rabbit trailing on the floor by one floppy ear. Her dark curls, so like Anna's, framed a face still soft with sleep. "It's just work stuff, honey," William said quickly, his protective instincts flaring hot. "Go back to bed." But Sophia padded forward instead, tilting her head at Rebecca with open curiosity. "Are you Daddy's boss? He talks about you sometimes. Are you firing him?" Rebecca's stern expression melted instantly. She knelt to Sophia's level, the fabric of her coat whispering against the floor, her perfume, a subtle blend of jasmine and vanilla, drifting up. "Yes, I am. And you must be Sophia. Your dad has your picture on his desk." Her voice softened like sunlight breaking through clouds. "Are you firing my daddy?" Sophia asked, her lower lip quivering. "Because he works so hard. Sometimes he stays up late on his computer after I sleep." William's chest tightened, love and embarrassment warring inside him. "Sophia, this is grown up. Business. Let's get you back." Rebecca looked up at him, something unreadable, yet warm, flickering in her eyes. "That's why I'm here." She stood slowly. "May I come in? We need to talk properly." Reluctantly, William stepped aside, painfully aware of the dishes stacked in the sink, the overflowing laundry basket spilling socks onto the floor, and the faint scent of last night's takeout lingering in the air. Rebecca moved through the space with quiet grace, her presence both out of place and strangely fitting amid the cheerful chaos of their life. "Sophia, why don't you show me your room while your dad makes some tea?" Rebecca suggested, surprising them both. Sophia's face brightened. "I have a science corner. Daddy helped me build a solar system that glows in the dark." As they disappeared down the hall, William's hand shook while filling the kettle, the water splashing louder than intended. Their voices drifted back, Sophia's animated chatter about planets and Rebecca's warm, encouraging responses. 15 minutes stretched into 20 as promises of just 5 more minutes extended, until finally Sophia was tucked back in bed. They sat across from each other at the small kitchen table, steaming mugs of chamomile between them, the herbal aroma rising in gentle curls. William broke the heavy silence first. "I don't understand. If you're firing me, why come here at 10 o'clock instead of the office tomorrow?" Rebecca wrapped her hands around her mug, her manicured nails tapping lightly against the ceramic. "Because you wouldn't hear me in the office either." The silence stretched, thick and telling. "I've been trying for weeks. Emails, notes, meetings you rescheduled or attended while texting. You've met deadlines, yes, but at what cost? You're exhausted, William. You've lost weight. Your team worries. Tonight you missed the company gala where you were supposed to accept the Innovation Award for the Nexus project, and I knew something had to change." William's face drained of color, shame washing over him like cold rain. The gala had vanished beneath Sophia's school project, a leaky faucet emergency, and final code debugging. "I forgot," he admitted, voice rough. "I'm not firing you from your job," Rebecca clarified, leaning forward, her eyes locking on his with steady warmth. "I'm firing you from 80-hour weeks, from skipping lunches, from believing you must carry everything alone." She outlined the new terms clearly. No more than 40 hours, delegate 30% of his workload, mandatory lunch breaks away from his desk, and 2 remote days weekly so he could greet Sophia after school. William stared, speechless. These weren't punishments, they were lifelines, warm hands pulling him from drowning. "Why?" he managed finally. "The Nexus deadline extended by 2 weeks. The client wants more features, more budget." Rebecca finished for him. "Time you will use to remember you're human, not just code." Something inside him cracked, the heavy weight of 2 years' grief shifting. "I don't know any other way," he whispered, voice breaking. "If I slow down, the grief might swallow me whole." "You might fall apart," Rebecca finished gently, her own eyes clouding with memory. "I've been there. My husband died in a car accident 6 years ago. Before founding Evergreen Tech, I buried myself in work because feeling hurt too much." William truly saw her then, not the formidable CEO, but a woman shaped by similar loss. Her hand hesitated before covering his on the table, skin warm against his chilled fingers. The touch sent unexpected heat blooming through him, like embers stirring beneath ash. "It gets better," she said. "Not always easier, but better. You don't have to do it alone." Warmth, unfamiliar yet hopeful, spread in his chest. Rebecca slid a folder across the table, details on family support programs, childcare help, flexible options, contacts for the parents' network. "Why me?" he asked softly. "Because I see myself in you," she replied, voice vulnerable. "Because Sophia deserves a father fully present. Because you're too valuable to lose to burnout. And because everyone deserves someone who cares enough to knock on their door and say when you're destroying yourself." The weeks that followed tested William's resolve. Delegating felt like releasing control into uncertain hands. Leaving at 5 o'clock carried the sting of abandonment. Lunch breaks away from screens made guilt prickle like needles. Yet slowly, change crept in like spring thaw. He helped Sophia with homework while fully present, energy returning enough for real meals instead of frozen pizza. The parents' group brought easy conversations and shared tips, laughter replacing isolation. Rebecca checked in, not just professionally, but personally, leaving books on grief with notes like, "Page 87 helped me breathe again. R." She invited them to the company picnic, where Sophia played with other children, her giggles floating on the summer air like music. Their connection deepened beyond work, silences between them growing comfortable rather than strained. 3 months later, at the annual charity auction in a downtown Seattle hotel ballroom, William arrived without his usual tension. He'd bought a new suit that fit his frame better now, gotten a haircut, and left his laptop behind. Spotting Rebecca in a deep emerald gown that caught the light, his breath caught. Their eyes met across the room. Her professional smile warmed into something intimate as she approached. "You came," she said, genuine pleasure softening her features. "I set reminders and had Sophia quiz me," William admitted with a rueful laugh. "I'm trying." "I can see that," Rebecca replied, her gaze tracing his relaxed posture. "It suits you." As the band played, William surprised himself by asking her to dance. On the floor, their steps started awkward, his hand warm on her waist, her palm fitting perfectly in his. The scent of her perfume mingled with the faint floral notes from centerpieces. "I haven't danced since my wedding," he confessed, voice low. "Then we'll take it slow," she murmured. Guilt flickered briefly, memories of Anna, but liberation followed, his heart remembering how to beat beyond mere survival. "Thank you," he said suddenly, words tumbling out, "for firing me that night, for caring enough to show up." Rebecca's eyes softened, micro-expressions revealing layers of her own vulnerability. "Sometimes, we need someone to point out what we're missing." She paused. "Connection. To others. To ourselves. To moments like this. I think Anna would want you living fully again." The name from her lips felt like permission, not intrusion. "She would," William agreed, throat tight. She lived every moment completely. Sophia had asked him yesterday if Rebecca could someday be his girlfriend, because she made him smile like the photos with Mommy. He'd answered carefully, then added, he'd like to take Rebecca to dinner, just them, to explore if more than friendship existed. As the song ended, they lingered in the shared space, his heart full of quiet hope. 8 months later, William stood in the same kitchen where everything shifted, watching Rebecca help Sophia decorate cupcakes for the school bake sale. Frosting streaked Sophia's cheeks in bright swirls, and even Rebecca had powdered sugar dusting her nose like fresh snow. The scene felt miraculous in its everyday warmth, the aroma of vanilla and chocolate wrapping around them, Sophia's laughter bubbling freely. William's phone buzzed with a work email, old habits tugging, but Sophia's joy anchored him. The message could wait until morning. "Dad, come see," Sophia called, sticky fingers waving him over. "Rebecca showed me how to make frosting flowers." He joined them at the counter, Rebecca catching his eye with that same determined smile from the night she'd knocked on his door. Her hand brushed his arm, sending familiar heat through him, the kind that promised healing rather than escape. Their family had grown in quiet ways, shared dinners, park walks along Puget Sound where waves whispered against the shore, evenings where silences spoke of trust rebuilt. William pulled Rebecca close as Sophia concentrated on her next flower, feeling the steady beat of her heart against his. The weight of grief had lightened, transformed by vulnerability shared and accepted. In the golden afternoon light filtering through the windows, he understood that sometimes the sharpest knocks at our door aren't endings but beginnings disguised as challenges, leading us toward the warmth of connection we never knew we needed.